The B-21 Raider is more than just a new stealth bomber. It is officially the world's first sixth-generation aircraft to take to the skies. It was designed to penetrate the most heavily defended airspace on Earth, built for a high-end war where traditional stealth is no longer enough. And yet, there is a very real possibility that the B-21 will complete its entire service life without ever dropping a single bomb in combat. Welcome back to Red Phantom. Today, we're breaking down the B-21 paradox, why America's most dangerous sixth-gen platform may never drop a bomb, and why that outcome is exactly how it wins. When people hear the word bomber, they think of kinetic destruction, B-17 formations over Europe, B-52s in Vietnam, or B-2 Spirits opening wars with precision strikes. That image is powerful, but it's anchored in the past. The B-21 was not built for the wars of the 20th century. Today, the US Air Force evaluates effectiveness less by sorties or tonnage, and more by credibility and perception. As the cornerstone of the sixth-generation family of systems, the B-21 is designed to operate in total synchronization with the NGAD fighter and autonomous wingmen. Its job isn't just to hit targets, it's to ensure an adversary believes it can get through, even if it never has to prove it. In peer competition, success isn't measured by use, but by whether the mere existence of the platform makes the cost of conflict unacceptable. This is why comparing the B-21 to legacy bombers misses the point. It isn't meant to repeat their role. It's meant to rewrite the logic of deterrence for the sixth-generation era. The B-21 Raider is a core leg of the US nuclear triad, alongside ICBMs and ballistic missile submarines, each serving a distinct role. ICBMs are fast but fixed and irrevocable. Submarines are survivable but silent and politically invisible. Bombers are different. They are visible, flexible, and recallable. That recallability is the bomber's strategic advantage. Bombers can be launched forward deployed or placed on alert to signal resolve and reassure allies, all without crossing the threshold of war. Missiles cannot do that. That flexibility makes bombers uniquely suited for controlled escalation. The B-21 modernizes that role. Its stealth and survivability restore credibility in heavily defended environments. In effect, the B-21 is not just a strike platform, it is a strategic message. We can reach you even if we choose not to. To understand why the B-21 had to be built, you have to look at the survivability wall. Picture this, it's a high-tension night in the Indo-Pacific. A layered wall of S-400 and HQ-9 radars are sweeping the horizon, integrated with infrared sensors and space-based satellites. In the 20th century, a bomber would need a massive alpha package, fighters for protection and jammers for cover, just to survive. But today, those escorts are just more targets for a sensor ecosystem that can detect the heat of a jet engine from hundreds of miles away. In this scenario, a legacy bomber like the B-52 is effectively a sitting duck. Even the B-2 Spirit is pushing its limits against multi-static radar arrays that can spot a stealth signature from multiple angles at once. This is where the sixth generation comes in. The B-21 isn't just stealthy, it is an information ghost. It is designed to act as the silent conductor for a symphony of NGAD fighters and autonomous drones. While the NGAD clears the path by neutralizing airborne threats, the B-21 ghosts through the sensor gaps, using its open mission architecture to jam, spoof, and bypass the very systems meant to kill it. It doesn't just hide from the ecosystem, it manipulates it. Here's the paradox at the center of the B-21 program. It may be most successful if it never drops a bomb. That only sounds wrong if military power is measured by use. In deterrence, success is measured by behavior, convincing an adversary that striking at all would fail. Strategic bombers matter because they create ambiguity. Unlike ballistic missiles, they can be launched, forward deployed, and recalled. They can carry conventional or nuclear payloads, and their intent is never immediately clear. That uncertainty forces adversaries to prepare for multiple scenarios, driving up defensive costs and complicating decisions. History supports this logic. During the Cold War, deterrence worked precisely because credible forces existed that were never used. The B-21 extends that model today. Its value lies in uncertainty, not when it will be used, but that it can be. That forces constant readiness and more conservative planning. A B-21 that never drops a bomb is not wasted capability. It is deterrence working as intended. If it ever has to prove itself in combat, something upstream has already failed. The B-21's price tag is a frequent target for critics. At roughly $700 to $800 million per aircraft, a fleet of 100 bombers represents a staggering investment. But in our view, looking at the unit cost is a fifth-generation mistake. The real comparison isn't the cost of the plane, it's the cost of systemic failure. In high-end Indo-Pacific wargaming, the most damaging losses aren't always the fighters, they are the enablers. The vulnerable tankers, AWACS, and forward bases that sustain short-range aircraft. If those enablers are destroyed, a fleet of hundreds of legacy fighters becomes grounded and useless. The B-21, alongside the long-range NGAD, is designed to break this dependency. By being able to strike from the continental United States or distant Allied bases without requiring a massive tail of vulnerable support tankers, the B-21 actually reduces the systemic cost of war. It is an investment in strategic leverage. Think of it as a massive insurance policy. If spending $80 billion on a sixth-generation fleet prevents a multi-trillion-dollar global conflict, then the Raider isn't too expensive. It's the most cost-effective tool in the entire US inventory. For China, the problem is depth. Beijing's planning relies on layered air defenses, hardened bases, and the assumption that distance creates sanctuary. The B-21 directly challenges that logic. With a range assessed beyond 9,000 kilometers, it can operate from the continental United States or distant Allied bases while still holding targets at risk deep inside the Indo-Pacific. That forces China to defend far more than coastlines, investing in inland air defenses, dispersal, and hardened command nodes. For Russia, the signal is endurance. Moscow's defenses are optimized around known axes and limited numbers of penetrating platforms. A stealth bomber fleet of roughly 100 aircraft built for sustained operations rather than symbolic presence complicates assumptions about attrition and escalation control. Timing matters as well. The Air Force has stated that the B-21 is moving from flight testing toward operational service, with early capability expected in the mid-2000s. Deterrence depends not on future promises, but on near-term credibility. In strategic terms, the B-21 doesn't just threaten targets. It forces adversaries to plan for uncertainty, spend defensively, and assume escalation will not be clean or contained every day, whether it flies or not. The B-21 Raider reveals an uncomfortable truth about modern warfare. The most important battles may never look like battles at all. The B-21 fits this reality because it isn't optimized for spectacle, it's optimized for leverage. A survivable bomber fleet forces adversaries to assume rear areas are no longer safe, escalation won't be clean or predictable, and defensive investment must be constant. That changes behavior long before the first missile is launched. This is why the B-21 can't be judged like legacy platforms. It isn't just replacing older bombers, it's updating deterrence logic for an era of sensor saturation, long-range precision, and fragile enablers. In that sense, the B-21 is less a weapon of war than a tool of strategic control. So here is the final question for the Red Phantom community. If we are spending $80 billion on a weapon system that only succeeds if it never fires a shot, is that a sign of military brilliance, or are we simply paying the world's most expensive ransom for a piece that is getting harder to keep? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Red Phantom. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and think beyond the first strike.